right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to another edition of NASCAR Thunder 2004 on the channel. I'm Keegan Schneider. We're going to take you through today's race at Michigan International Speedway, a night race at Michigan. Yes, there are no lights at Michigan in real life, but in this game, we can have the lights on and race this thing at nighttime. So this is the second race at Michigan this season, and this is the 22nd race of the NASCAR Thunder 2004 custom schedule season 1 of 2 that we're doing here on the channel with this game. Coming into this race, we're racing as Greg Biffle as we have for this season up to this point, and Greg Biffle coming into this race today sits 12th in the point standings right now, about 586 points back still. Tony Stewart has a 93-point lead over Ryan Newman coming into today's race. Dale Jr. 137 out. So the top three all within one race all of a sudden after Stewart has been kind of sliding back a little bit compared to Dale Jr. and Ryan Newman himself. So without further ado, we're going to hop on into this race. Darren Dill, welcome to the stream, by the way.
The lights are on and the fans are ready. It's the NASCAR Winston Cup Series on MRN from the Michigan International Speedway. Michigan always produces some great racing. What do you think, Barney?
Michigan is wide with plenty of banking in the turns. You can get 3 wide pretty easily here. That always makes for some exciting race action.
The 16 car has some drivers who like him and others who don't want anything to do with him.
It certainly seems like he's playing favorites out there on the track. He's ultra-aggressive with some drivers and not afraid to mix it up. But then when he gets around someone else, he'll show him nothing but respect.
Robbie Gordon will start this race a little farther back than he's used to.
You know, I spoke with the guys from that team in the garage this morning, and they said they tried something a little different in qualifying this week. They learned their lesson, though. Stick with what works, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Canadian Bacon, congratulations, and also welcome to the stream. We're going to take you through today's starting lineup for the Motor City 400 at Michigan as we get engines fired here today. Greg Biffle will be on the pole once again this season, starting outside pole in second. The driver coming in third in the point standings with 2 wins this year is Dale Jr. Biffle, also the most winningest driver this season, and Biffle currently sits in the point standings again in 12th. With 9 wins on the year. Behind those guys in row 2, we've got Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick, both with 1 win each this season. Harvick, the more prestigious of the wins coming in the Daytona 500. In row 3, we've got Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott. Ricky Rudd, also another winner this season. So in the top 5, every driver that starts in the top 5 today has had a win this season. Rusty Wallace and Ryan Newman will be sitting in row 4. Penske drivers, Penske Dodges in that 4th row. Newman second in points coming in winless on the season. Michael Waltrip, Tony Stewart coming in row 5. Stewart the points leader, also winless this year. In row number 6, Sterling Marlin and Hermie Sadler, both winless on the season. Behind those guys in row number 7, we've got Jimmy Johnson and Bobby Labonte coming into the day today. Johnson, one of 2 rivals with Greg Biffle. Labonte with 1 win on the season as well. Johnny Benson and Dale Jarrett will be coming in row number 8. Jarrett coming off a top 5 run yesterday at Richmond. Jeff Burton and Ward Burton will be starting row number 9. We've seen the Burton brothers start with each other in the same row for most of the season, it feels like, and yet another race today. Joe Nemechek and Ricky Craven will be in row number 10. Behind those guys in row number 11, we've got Hermie Sadler and Jerry Nadeau. In row number 12, we've got Brett Bodine and Mike Skinner. Behind those guys in row number 13, we've got Matt Kenseth and Robbie Gordon. Kenseth's hot streak came to an end yesterday. We'll see if he can get it going once again here in Ford's home track at Michigan. Steve Park and Jeff Green will be in row 14. Jeff Green's had success this season. Has been pretty good as of late. 2 wins in the last 7 races, including a top 3 as well at Talladega 2 races ago. Kurt Busch and Jeremy Mayfield will be in row 15. In row 16, we've got Kyle Petty and Jeff Gordon. Gordon has won once this year, but he's been really hit or miss in qualifying. He missed on qualifying today, so he'll be starting towards the back. Jamie McMurray, Kenny Wallace will be in row 17. In row number 18, we've got Christian Fittipaldi and Terry Labonte again starting towards the back. Not a good season for qualifying for Labonte, but he's back there with a teammate of Jeff Gordon. Maybe that can help him out. 2 rookies in row 19, Jack Sprague and Casey Mears. In row 20, we've got Ken Schrader and Kevin LePage. In row 21, we've got Stanton Barrett and David Green. And to round out the field, last but not least, starting last, all by himself in row 22, it will be Kevin Grubb in the 26. Davion West, welcome to the stream as well. Yep, Michigan night race. This is my home track as well as Fords and Chevys when it comes to NASCAR. So we'll see how this is going to go. So this is, again, this is on, I'm playing this on PS2, but I'm streaming it through my PC. Green flag in the air. We are underway here at Michigan. Biffle starting on the pole, trying to get that quick start. Dale Jr. on the outside, also trying to lead a lap in the championship running. Biffle's got a teammate right behind him of Mark Martin, but that outside lane just took off on the restart. Biffle did not. A little contact on the opening lap. Opening corner between Harvick and Biffle. As they race down the back straightaway, Dale Jr. trying to get those 5 bonus points for leading the first lap of the race. Kind of stays a little high. There's Rusty Wallace in line right behind Biffle. Biffle's got to be careful. Wallace not too happy with him. Biffle, meanwhile, back to the inside of Junior off of turn 4. Who will lead the first lap at the line? A little contact. It'll be Junior leading lap 1 by 17 one-thousandths of a second as they roll off into turn 1. Once again, Biffle slid it in there, driving it in hard, trying to clear the 8 of Dale Jr. They quickly trying to get away from Rusty Wallace. Wallace, another one of the rivals with Biffle. Could have very well turned him right there. They got into it a few times yesterday at Richmond. And Biffle's able to clear going into turn 3 on Dale Jr. still. Lead change at the line once again. And it'll be Greg Biffle leading lap 2. And he'll get 5 bonus points now. So pretty quick start here around the fastest track in NASCAR. On a Sunday afternoon, Bill Elliott looking for second place. Longtime veteran in the sport. Underneath Dale Jr. right now. Biffle going down low, trying to break the draft, do whatever he can. Went all the way to the apron. Down the front stretch. Johnny Benson's in the top 5 in the early going of this race. So, our drivers trying to showcase their speed in the early going here. Ricky Rudd in the top 5 as well. Biffle won the first Michigan race earlier this season on the 4th race of the year. With this being his rookie season in 2003, that would have been his first career win, as it was his first win of 9 this season. Ricky Rudd into second all by himself right now, trying to close the gap on Greg Biffle. Much wider arc for Rudd going into the corner, but he almost let Bill Elliott get underneath him because of it. Draft pays so much of an advantage here at Michigan, but it is so hard to pass that lead car around this racetrack. Track position has always been one of the main factors here at MIS. Yeah, I'm using the controller for this race. I don't have a steering wheel for my PlayStation 2, so we're always going to be using the controller with NASCAR Thunder 04. Really any of the older NASCAR games. We saw a really good race at Michigan earlier this season with a really good finish. Are we going to see more of that today? Over the course of this 400-mile, 200-lap race, Biffle's been so good on the 400-mile races this season. Again, already mentioned he won at Michigan this year. Other 400-mile races, he's won the Indianapolis race for the Brickyard 400. He's also won at Chicagoland with the last lap pass for the win there. Also has a win at Las Vegas. So he's been really good on the 400-mile races. This is another one, and he tries to go for the Michigan sweep today. Dale Jr. to the inside for second place. on Ricky Rudd. They're still side by side. He hasn't cleared him yet. He should have the advantage going off into turn 3. Jimmy Johnson's crept into the top 5 now as well. Junior likely going to gain a little bit there. And he's going to get to the outside of Biffle. Biffle made a mistake. He went a little too low when he was trying to break the draft and kind of clipped the grass a little bit. Washes up the racetrack. And here comes Ricky Rudd on the bottom now, underneath Dale Jr. again. Biffle trying to go low, breaking the draft. He's doing whatever he can. Definitely wants to make sure Jimmy Johnson doesn't get up here. Johnson's up to 4th. 2 by 2 through the field behind the race leader. Almost looks like pack racing. Saw this a couple races ago at Talladega. We're seeing it again here. He's doing everything he can. Big run by Ricky Rudd. Biffle trying to stall that momentum out. Junior trying to cross him over as well for second. The next NASCAR Heat 5 stream is going to be on Tuesday. Going to be running NASCAR Thunder 04 again tomorrow at Kansas. Junior to the inside of Greg Biffle. Who's going to lead at the line? Junior's already led 1 lap. Biffle at the line will lead by 5 1/1000ths of a second there. Trying to lead as many laps as he can, but Junior's going to have an advantage going off into turn 1. Bobby Labonte to the inside, a little contact. And there's Jimmy Johnson. Biffle's got to be careful. Trying to get a draft here on Dale Jr. down the backstretch to help him out a little bit as they go off into turn 3. Johnson's underneath him. Johnson takes a swing. And Biffle barely keeps it off the wall. And Ricky Rudd's up to 3rd. Stewart now to the inside of Jimmy Johnson all of a sudden for 4th. And look at that. That just costed Biffle not 1 but 2 positions. Also costed Johnson 2 spots as well as he was battling for 3rd with Greg Biffle at the time. And Bobby Labonte, meanwhile, is in the lead after passing Dale Jr., so he led that last lap to get 5 bonus points. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. It's early afternoon, but yeah, welcome. Biffle drives it in deep into turn 3, back underneath Ricky Rudd again. Yeah, next race will be the Dover Cup race for NASCAR Heat 5. On Tuesday. Well, I should say that's the next NASCAR Heat 5 stream on Tuesday. Again, we're running Thunder 04 again tomorrow at Kansas. Biffle back on the outside again. Ricky Rudd underneath him. Still side by side further back between Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart as well. And Rudd will get right back around Greg Biffle. So a lot of passing in the early going of the race today. Biffle's in the line of the draft though. Looked like Rudd was able to clear him, but not quite. Almost made contact there. Biffle trying to side draft Ricky Rudd. Now Rudd to the inside of Jimmy. His run kind of stalled out. Biffle trying to do everything he can to get right back underneath Junior or Ricky Rudd, maybe both. Rudd is now cleared Dale Jr. Junior might be trying to cross him back over. And this is what Bobby Labonte wants to see. These guys battling hard for 2nd place. And it's allowing him to gap them slowly but surely. And Biffle back to the inside of Dale Jr. That draft on the outside is going to help Junior here. He's getting a big pull off of Ricky Rudd. Tony Stewart's not that far behind him as well. Biffle's got no drafting help on the bottom, so he's not going to be able to get a pass on Junior that time. Biffle seems to be good in the center of the corner. I'm going to use Jimmy Johnson's car one last time. It's up to the fan vote. If the fan vote chooses Jimmy Johnson for Thunder 04 or any of these older games, then I will race as Jimmy Johnson. I'm going to make sure we don't get the same vote every time with these older games. So if we end up getting Dale Jr. for one of them, like Thunder 04, then we won't have Dale Jr. again. Same thing goes for any of these other drivers. Biffle underneath Ricky Rudd. And he'll make a pass. That's for third. Oh, he washed up the track right in front of him, but he did clear him. Biffle trying to get underneath Junior. Junior's cutting him off. Biffle tries to go to the apron, and that's where he loses the momentum a little bit in the center of the corner because he can't quite get to the corner panel. At least try to stay underneath him if he gets to the apron. A little bit wider into turns 1 and 2. And he'll get underneath Junior that time. Washed up the track right into him. Little contact. Still clears him. Not a clean pass, but it's a pass nonetheless. And Biffle trying to charge after Labonte. Ricky Rudd to the inside of Dale Jr. for third. Votes for the season. We're doing 2 seasons with these older games. One custom schedule season and one season schedule that was the same from that season. And for one of them, I'm going to be using Biffle likely every time because he was my favorite driver when I was growing up. And then we'll also do a fan vote season where you guys get to pick the driver. Driver with the most votes will be the driver I use. There's a pass into turn 3. Biffle right back out in front again. Second different time. He will lead at the line this time. Lap number 18 coming up. Biffle trying to go for a record 5 wins in a row. If he can find victory lane here today at a track, he has gone to victory lane a couple times already in his career. In real life, that is. And he's trying to pull away now from Bobby Labonte. No, we have not raced Infineon yet. That's coming up, I believe, in 4 or 5 races. That's coming up very soon. And we still have a second trip to Watkins Glen as well, so we still have 2 road course races left in these final 14 races after this race concludes. So we're getting down towards the end of the season here as well. Still got quite a ways before lap traffic as well, about a half a track. So a lot of clean air in front of Greg Biffle right now. This is his chance to really pull away and just log in a bunch of laps led like we've seen him do over the last handful of races as it is. Last 4 to be exact. In those races he's won and led the most laps. The next 2 races on this schedule are going to be Kansas tomorrow, and then I believe on Friday is what I'll have scheduled for Pocono. This feels like a better start to the race than what Biffle had earlier this season at Michigan as well. It almost feels like he's got a little bit more speed this time around. Could be the grip in the racetrack with racing at the nighttime versus in the day. When it was a day race earlier this year, could have been a little bit slicker perhaps. This car is glued to the racetrack tonight. Well, tonight meaning it's a night race on the game, but obviously again we're running early afternoon. We're going to alternate to the different camera angles for the first time today. Starting at the start-finish line right here. 1.8 second lead. Still not a big lead, but Biffle is widening it out slowly but surely on Bobby Labonte. And all 43 cars still in the lead lap and in the race as well. A little scrape off the wall there, off of turn 2. I think that's the first time Biffle's hit the wall. Pretty wide racetrack. A little too tight there. Last lap, Labonte was about 0.7 of a second quicker, with Biffle getting into the wall off of turn 2. Pretty major mistake whenever you get into the wall here. Not just on this racetrack, but really any track in this video game. Not quite there, but we're almost halfway through this fuel tank as well. Wow, I don't know how Biffle kept it off the wall that time. Car seems to get a little on the tight side off of turn 2. Turns 3 and 4, it's a little bit better. 1 and 2, it's really good on entry, and then about right in the center of the corner, he kind of wants to push up the racetrack a little bit and up the hill. And he's gotten in the wall once. So halfway out of fuel right now at lap 26. The fuel window is probably going to be 45 to 50 laps for most drivers over the course of this race today. So this could very well be just a 3 pit stop race. Assuming that fuel run is ran to 50 laps every time. So that's what Biffle needs to make sure he does, is make it to 50 laps before every stop, especially if we somehow go caution-free today. I believe we had quite a few cautions in the first race at Michigan this year, but we'll see how this one goes. We had 4 cautions in each of the last 2 races, 4 at Richmond and then 4 at Talladega the day prior. A lot of them in the second half of both races as well. Seem to always have these calm starts. And then the anticipation and the aggression just kind of builds up throughout the course of the race. Oh yeah, we've had a ton of cars flip on this game already. At the end of the calendar year, I have I guess I'll kind of leak the video out now, but I got a plan for a couple ranking videos of the worst crashes we've had on the channel, the whatever game it might be, and the best finishes we've had, best overall calls in general. So do a couple fun videos here in the next couple weeks once 2020 comes to an end. We still have a couple more weeks to see if we can get another one of those classic races on the channel. 5.2 second lead. Labonte still in second. Bobby Labonte, that is. Biffle still out in front. Caution free, and all 43 cars still on the track. No engine failures up to this point. And still no lap traffic yet, though it looks like Biffle's getting closer and closer to the back markers at the rear of the field here. I believe this is Kevin LePage at the rear of the field. Will be the first driver to go a lap down here today, giving Greg Biffle plenty of room on the bottom of the racetrack to put him a lap down. Not going to race him hard now, though I'm sure by the end of the race he probably will. We saw some really aggressive blocks at Richmond yesterday, going off into turn 3 especially, it seemed like. In the last 100 laps of the race, these lap cars just doing whatever they could to block anybody and everybody. No matter how many laps down they were, whether if it was for position or not. We had a lot of fun doing that Chase Parade series. It seemed like we had quite a bit of viewership throughout the course of it, and that a lot of you guys like that channel. I felt like I was the first one to really hop on it and do something like that, because I don't really know if there's any other NASCAR YouTuber that does games that did like a Chase Parade, like a full season, full race kind of like I did. Granted, there's not many people that did or that do full races anyway, but Kevin Grubb, Mike Skinner going to go a lap down now as well. It's Christian Fittipaldi up here, one of the allies for Greg Biffle. Drafted well with him at one point at Talladega a couple races ago. You give Biffle plenty of room as well. So these lap cars are racing Biffle really clean right now. They're just letting him go, and Biffle's just putting more and more on the leaders, and now he's got another big gap for the next lap car. And he's got one, and he'll have another big gap after that. So Biffle just kind of taking it easy right now as we're logging in a lot of laps led, and just a lot of laps in general at this quick pace off the very get-go. Again, Biffle just needs to make it to lap 50 here. It can be a 3 pit stop race today. He just pits every 50 laps. Yeah, I did see that Radman did that. He also did a Do It for Dale series with NASCAR Thunder 04, so that's out of the question there. I'm not going to do Dale Sr., because I did unlock him. You guys saw him in the All-Star race because he was unlocked. Because I had to do the All-Star race on Race Now, you can't have an All-Star race actually implemented on the actual season mode itself. Same thing with the Bud Shootout that we did earlier this year. Though only I did a shortened Daytona night race. It wasn't the actual Bud Shootout. But I have the Bud Shootout locked out, unlocked now. So for Season 2, we'll have the legitimate Bud Shootout. Whoa. Wasn't paying attention there. Yeah, with Jimmy Johnson retiring full-time, at least in NASCAR, Alex Bowman's taking over the 48. He's driving the 48 car, but the actual team itself is still the same that Alex Bowman's driving for. They're literally just switching the numbers from the 48. So technically, Kyle Larson is taking over the 5 car. Technically, Larson's taking over with Johnson's team. Pit crew and all that is going to be Jimmy Johnson's team, but that's a different number as well. You're driving the 5, and then they're just basically throwing the 48 decals and paint scheme on the 88 pretty much is what they're doing. Bodine pulled up right in front of Biffle there. I think it was more Kenny Wallace kind of pulled up in front of Bodine, and Biffle was trying to go high above both of them. That didn't work out very well. Uses tremendous straightaway speed to get around Kenny Wallace on the outside now, too. Yeah, nobody's driving the 88 next year. They're bringing the 5 car back at Hendrick Motorsports, so that's the car that Larson's going to be driving. So the 88 will not be a number that will be fielded next year. An 11.8 second lead right now for Greg Biffle. Nice little stroll in the park here at Michigan International Speedway. Ernie Sadler, another one of Biffle's allies, but I think he was going to block him there for a second. Biffle just carried too much speed into turn 1 and beat him down to the bottom, and once he got underneath him, he gave him plenty of room from that point on. That's a nice thing, too. It seems like the lap traffic, for the most part, has been spaced out right now for Biffle whenever he catches a lap car. going to be very close to see if Biffle's actually going to get to lap 50. I still think he's going to get there. He's going to try to make it beyond lap 50 if he can. And that's just simply because the more laps he goes beyond that point, less pressure it's going to be on him to make it 50 laps in each run going forward. Lifted a little bit more there in turns 3 and 4 to get around the 49 of Ken Schrader. Yeah, I mean, my personal opinion, again, everybody's subject to their own opinion. I can understand that you would feel that way about Larson. I would understand people are more forgiving of him too. I'm more forgiving of the fact because I feel like he's done enough to right his wrongs. It was a simple man, whew, that snuck up on me. All right, there we go. We're good. I just had that like tickle in my nose there for a second. I knew it was going to be a big sneeze there for a second. I had to pause the game before I like crashed out or something stupid after doing that. But yeah, anyway, what I was saying was, I personally think he's done enough to right his wrong. But if people, or I should say, I don't blame people for holding a grudge on that. After what he said, that's perfectly acceptable also. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that just snuck up on me. It's like I was in the middle of a sentence and just like, whoa, okay. I tried to turn away from the camera so you guys didn't have to see that. It's probably pretty cringy as it happened. Especially with having to pause the game so there's like no sound outside of me sneezing. Right in the microphone. I didn't pull the mic away in time. Oh wow, Casey Mears really just stuffed it into turn 3. Biffle's hooked on him and he can't get off of him. Finally clears him there. Casey Mears did not make it easy there for Biffle to put him a lap down. Biffle trying that higher line in turns 3 and 4. Looks like Terry Labonte's coming to pit road, so he's going to give him plenty of room. Robbie Gordon really bottomed out there. He'll go a lap down at the line. Lap 50. 18-second lead for Greg Biffle over Bobby Labonte here at Michigan. So you can see these tires are getting pretty worn out right now on the 16 car. Eight-tenths of a gallon left of fuel here for Biffle, so he's going to make it one more lap. He'll pit at lap 51. Go one lap beyond lap 50. That's going to help him out on the fuel issue there a little bit. He's definitely sliding around a lot more. Greg Biffle coming to pit road this time. Gotta make sure he doesn't spin out coming to pit road as well. 70 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. No adjustments here. 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel coming up for the 16 of Greg Biffle. Is that camera blurry, by the way? It just seems kind of blurry today for whatever reason. I noticed that a couple days ago, and that's why I didn't use it the first time. I didn't use it until yesterday. It felt like the lens was cleaner. Even though I wiped the lens off before I start all the time. Whatever. Nice fast pit stop there for Greg Biffle. No mistakes. Quickly getting the 4 fresh tires on the race car, and just gonna make sure he tries to stay on the apron here. Coming off of pit road. Faster car still on the racetrack. Just ahead of him. So now he'll pull up there. right around the cars he was around when he came to pit road. So Biffle's still going to have a pretty big lead when everything cycles through when the last of the drivers to pit.
Number 41 is outside.
Looked away from the screen there for a second. That wasn't a good idea.
The 41 car is still there. Still there. Still beside you.
Biffle will put a pass on Casey Mears once again.
Clear. Some of the leaders are coming in together.
And that's Ward Burton coming out of the pits right in front of the 16 of Biffle. And check up right behind him and let Burton pull up onto the racing surface going into turn 3 so he can make the corner. Race leader still out on the racetrack. I'm surprised that guys are able to go this long on fuel. Over 50 laps at Michigan. Biffle went 51, and I don't think he would have made it another lap. It would have been close. But he already made it to the point where he needed to go, so that's why he hit pit road when he did. Ward Burton does not want to go a lap down right now. Biffle's been working right around him here for a little bit. Burton looks to get around Bobby Labonte. At least he's on the inside of him. Jeff Burt was able to lead a lap there. Oh, contact! Ward Burton kind of came up in front of the 5 of Terry Labonte. He didn't fully clear him until after the contact was made between the two cars. And now Biffle trying to draft Ward Burton on the bottom of the back straightaway to put Terry Labonte a lap down. We'll get him into turn 3, and it was all over the back of the 22 car once again there for Bill Davis. Jimmy Johnson cycled into second place. They gained 4 seconds of time. Johnson, I believe, short pitted. So that's why he was able to gain so much time there on Biffle to move up to that second position now. Still all 43 cars on the racetrack. It's still caution free. No engine failures up to this point either. Yeah, Biffle's just struggling right now. He just can't get around Ward Burton. Another lap car right in front of Ward. I believe that's Jerry Nadeau in the 0-1. That might be the best opportunity for Biffle to get around Burton, but now Burton gets to the inside off of turn 4. Biffle's going to draft with him, and he's not going to rush to get around Burton until he has a big enough of a run. To the inside of the 0-1 there of Nadeau, and Biffle couldn't even stay to the inside of Jerry Nadeau. Jerry beat him back to the gas. Burton's still staying on the inside up there, and Biffle's able to draft off of him, and maybe he'll get a pull into turn 3. Gets right back underneath the 0-1, and he'll clear him that time in turns 3 and 4, and Nadeau's a lap down. So short pitting is when drivers come to pit road before a scheduled pit stop, or when the pit window just opens, I should say, is usually when you see drivers try to short pit. By pitting, basically that's just pitting before the majority of the field comes to pit road. You want to try to be that first car to pit road because you can gain advantage and run faster lap times on fresh tires while you have guys out there on very old tires at the end of a fuel or a tire stint. So that's where short pitting comes into play. You can, at some tracks, it could almost gain you a couple seconds a lap. There's other tracks it doesn't make much more of a difference. Michigan's one of those tracks that doesn't make too much of a difference, but you obviously saw there, whenever Johnson came to pit road, it was before Biffle, and he was able to gain 4 seconds because of it. But then as soon as you come back out on the racetrack, if you pit too early, then you'll start giving up that time back, and then some. So it's a risk versus reward kind of thing. And Johnson starting to fall back a little bit compared to Greg Biffle's pace now, but he's still 3 seconds ahead of Labonte in second, so he's got a little bit of time before Bobby Labonte might be able to make a run at him. And again, Biffle closes in on Ward Burton. He's looking low. Doesn't look like Burton's going to block him. As they go into turn 3, Burton gives him plenty of room. So Biffle will pass him cleanly in turns 3 and 4. Slides up right in front of him. What class did I... Yeah, so when I grew up racing on dirt, I started off racing quarter midgets when I was 8 years old when I started doing it competitively. I think when I was 6 I started, we went to this little dirt track, probably 15, 20 minutes from where I live, in another town, and basically this guy built it for his grandkids, and we just started taking our cart down there too, and there was a handful, there was like maybe 10 people that bring their go-karts every Saturday afternoon. We, just test laps, nothing competitive, just run some test laps, just get some lap times under me. I did that for like 2 years before I started racing competitively, just to simply hit my apex. So every Saturday it wasn't raining, from basically April all the way till early October before it got cold. We were out there. And the guy took good care of the track for the most part too. He would water it when he needed to water it. Started doing that. And then I raced competitively in quarter midgets for I think like 2 years, I want to say. No, it was like 2.5, because then halfway through the third year, I was too tall, and I basically kind of grew. We literally went to my grandparents' house. We were about to load up the truck with the quarter midget. We'd throw the quarter midget in the back of the pickup truck and go down. Any spare tires and toolbox, whatever would fit in there too. But anyway, I always got in it before we left, for whatever, and probably for their sake of, okay, let's make sure he fits still. And I didn't fit, so we didn't go that weekend. Like, I literally just couldn't get in. I think we had like 2 or 3 weeks off before that, and that's why I didn't fit from 1 week to the next. Like, it was kind of a cram before that, but I just couldn't fit from like 3 weeks. I think we had like 2 rainouts in a row or something, and then a scheduled week off that they didn't want to make up a race or something of that nature, that we didn't race for like 3 straight weeks, and then I just didn't fit, so we didn't race that weekend. Then he ended up buying another, it was called a rage cart, and it was a go-kart with a roll cage on it, but it wasn't, it looked different from a quarter midget. It wasn't another midget. And I raced that for the rest of the season, and that kind of sucked because I couldn't race against anybody. And then I think we only had like 3 people in our class. The next year I raced it again, and it just, like, it wasn't competitive enough. I won the championship, so then I ended up getting a go-kart, like a legitimate go-kart, and started racing adult classes from that point on. I think I was racing adult classes when I was like 13. And I was keeping up with them too. It took me about 1.5 years before I won, but I was competitive enough to where I was running like top 5 consistently. And I think we only won like 1 or 2 races the next season, and we almost won the championship. We finished second. We were tied going into the last race. And that was a lot of fun, just battling every week for points. We were literally dead tie. Whoever finished better between me and him, I finished like 2 positions behind him in the feature. We both didn't run well in the feature. I think he finished like 6th, and I finished 8th or something like that. That was a lot of fun. That's pretty much like the, competitiveness, like points-wise, that's where I finished. Then I was kind of just inconsistent after that. Like, I'd win more races, but it was just like, we were either winning 1 week or just running like 10th the next. And then it got to like the last year I was in it for whatever reason. I don't know what the deal was. We just had a bad season the last year I was in it. we weren't running for points either, so we weren't sticking at one specific track. But every track we would go to, basically wherever the money was at, I just wasn't. I was competitive. Like, I was still getting top 10s from time to time, but it wasn't as consistent. I think I missed like 2 features over the course of the season. That was something I had never done, so that was kind of like. Well, I did it one other time. We ran this huge race, Western Ohio. It was like contact there. Even checking Biffle. Biffle couldn't get off of him. But it was like $4,000 to win for a go-kart race. That was pretty big, and obviously it was pretty much an adult class. I think I was 18 when I did that. It was like the second to last year I was doing it, and that was probably one of the more fun times I've had too. I didn't make the show, but there were, I forget how many karts were in our class. There were over 100. It was basically like the Knoxville Nashville's. Like, you would qualify, you'd have a heat race, and then after the heat race, it was basically like qualifying race after qualifying race. Basically, it was like an E main to D main. I think we were in the C. We got knocked out. And then the feature was 100 laps if you made it all the way to the feature. But it was just a one-day show. So literally there was a hot lap session, I think, at like 10 o'clock in the morning. And then qualifying was at like noon or something. And then your heat race was like another hour and a half after that. It was like qualifying race after qualifying. It went all night. It was ridiculous. 3 wide down the backstretch here. Biffle. It's around Steve Park and Jamie McMurray to put them both a lap down. Lap 70 currently in this one. So we get back in the action. Already 1 green flag pit stop so far. We're still caution free. Biffle's running nice and clean. He's led the most laps up to this point. Got a little bit over an 18-second lead on Jimmy Johnson. Points leader Tony Stewart no longer in the top 5. Neither is the second 2 drivers behind him in points. Ryan Newman comes in second in points. He was in the top 5 earlier. He's fallen out. Dale Jr., who started second, actually led the first lap of the race. He's now outside of the top 5 as well. That's what Biffle wants to see. All 43 cars still on the racetrack as well. Nobody has blew an engine, anything of that nature yet. Been racing since you were 14. Nice. Yeah, I mean, some of it, my grandpa was declining physically. And then he decided to, because it was usually just me and him that went to the racetrack. Then my parents would come and support. My dad would help, but he sold the kart, and I didn't really look to race for anybody else. It was kind of like one of those things, like when I was growing up and I was having early success with it, I was like, okay, maybe this could be something. I had dreams, of making it big to race one. But as I was getting older, I was about 16, 17. I was like, yeah, this probably isn't going to turn into anything. Like, I would have loved to have raced sprint cars or something like that. As a next step up, but you have to get the notability, and I just never got it. And then, the decline in the go-karting those last year and a half, really, I think we went like the last year and a half without winning a race. It was just like we weren't as competitive as we once were, and it was likely the equipment. This is basically the same equipment. Our equipment was just old at that point. But it is what it is, and basically from age of 15, 16, 17 years old, so pretty much like sophomore to junior year of high school, I was like, yeah, I really want to get into broadcasting. Because I still want racing to be a part of my life, and I want to make it a job, even if that's not me behind the wheel. And I don't really know much about the mechanic side of things, but I love talking about it, and that's why play-by-play is lap by lap commentating would be my favorite thing to do. So I pretty much fell in love with trying to do that. Now I've fallen in love with just doing it simply on the channel itself. So let's grow this into something big. And that's basically my story of my racing childhood, my physical racing childhood. Some other time I'll get into, when I started watching NASCAR and stuff. Which basically I can't really remember a specific point in time. It's just kind of always been a part of my life. But that's kind of a different story. That's what led into me racing, but obviously... It's pretty much it. Nice. Yeah, everything I did was on dirt. I really wanted to race asphalt too, and that was pretty much where it was at, and that's probably why I wasn't like, even when I was winning, I wasn't getting a ton of notoriety for it. I was around the track and the people I was racing against because of how young I was and I was winning. But at the same time, and I was always racing clean. I was always one of those cleaner racers, and people respected that too. But as like the aspect outside of like the track that night, yeah, nobody really remembered me elsewhere. Yeah, definitely shoot for it. If you're good enough and you have the funding for it, go for it, man. Ethan, welcome to the stream. But Paulie kind of holding these guys up. There's a little contact again between Biffle and Ricky Craven that time. And Paulie's kind of holding these guys up. Johnny Benson's in there as well. Benson was in the top 5 early. Contact as they're 3 wide. Biffle got around him one way or another. He's made contact every now and then with another driver, it seems like, throughout the course of this race today. That's another thing, too. We only have 2 pit stops left the rest of the way, as long as we don't get a caution that kind of disrupts things. So far, we're caution-free. It helps that there's only 2 rivals, and that's Jimmy Johnson and Rusty Wallace, and Biffle's not seen either one of them yet today. Another reason why it's been a pretty solid, clean, really clean race. Another ally, Elliott Sadler, just up ahead. The next driver to go a lap down. 21-second lead, about 21 and a half over Jimmy Johnson still. Tony Stewart back in the top 5. He's up to 5th. We haven't talked about Kevin Harvick at all today, but he qualified in 4th and never led a lap, but he's still in the top 5 and 4th currently. Kind of faded out early and then brought himself right back in the running again. Ooh! Sadler pulled down right in front of Biffle. Contact there. Biffle trying to drag race him down the front stretch and get around him. And Labonte has just passed Jimmy Johnson for 2nd place. So Johnson's starting to fade on the longer run. Biffle trying to hold this middle to upper lane in 1 and 2 to try and get around Elliott Sadler on the outside. He actually stuck that lane pretty well that time, believe it or not. Gets the run down the back stretch, and he'll clear Elliott Sadler into 3. Yeah, so Johnson's pretty much been upset since he crashed into me at the Coke 600 a handful of races ago. And every time he sees me, he tries to wipe me out. I spun off of turn 4, and I kind of like nosed it into the wall, and he hit me first when I was sitting on the track, and he's been mad at me ever since, even though it wasn't my fault. And he kept trying to wipe me out, and I finally retaliated on him at Chicagoland. Finally spun him out, and retaliated on him, and he's just still been mad ever since. That was 3 races ago. Last Sunday. Yeah, so it was already announced Chase Briscoe's taking over for Clint Boyer next season. So Briscoe's being brought up. Yes, Greg Biffle did not do anything wrong there with Jimmy Johnson. That is for sure. Johnson's upset. And then Rusty Wallace turned Biffle in the All-Star race, and Biffle tried to turn him back yesterday at Richmond and kind of failed the first time. Second time he did wipe him out. Wow, there's a moment into turn 1. Car just turned a little too early on Biffle there. He was able to make a good save going into 1 and 2 that time. Nobody around him. On the bright side, though, with both those guys stepping down from full-time racing, is that you're going to hear Boyer's voice every weekend on Fox. With him jumping into the broadcast booth there, and Jimmy Johnson's still going to be racing IndyCar for more than half of their schedule on the road courses next year and the year after, so you'll still be seeing Jimmy Johnson around too. So although they're retiring from full-time NASCAR, you'll still see or hear their faces every week. Roughly every week. Shell Raptor, welcome to the stream. Bodine went to the bottom in 1 and 2, Biffle to the outside, and he got a little loose off of turn 2, barely kept it off the wall. Got the hammer down and just drove right out of it. Guys got about another 15 laps until we see Greg Biffle hit pit road for his second time today. So race around Michael Waltrip into turn 1, and Mikey trying to race him a little hard there and make him earn it, and Biffle has cleared Waltrip to put him a lap down now. Yep, face cam's back. We brought it back last night. I have a little better angle than what I did last night too. I figured out a way to, or figured out a good spot to put it, I should say. I didn't really have the best of spots yesterday where I had it. It was kind of blocking my vision of the bottom left corner of the screen, but today I have the full vision on my TV, so there's no obscured objects in the way. Yeah, Johnson's also running in the Rolex 24 at the end of January, so is Chase Elliott for that matter. 3 wide with the lap cars just up ahead in turns 3 and 4. So that window is going to open up at about lap 95 as well, where we're going to see the second pit stops of the day. Still caution free. And again, I believe we had 6 cautions in the first race at Michigan this season, if I remember correctly. I know we had a decent amount of them. Run underneath Sterling Marlin. Jeff Burton, next lap car just up in front. He tries to get around Kenny Wallace. Biffle tried to rush to the bottom. Contact. 3 wide. That was dangerous. Biffle drove it in a little too hard, trying to get around his teammate there a little quickly, and that's the last guy you want to hit as a teammate. Biffle drives it hard into 3 and 4. Big time side draft on that left rear of Burton, loosened him up a little bit without making contact that time, and he'll pass him cleanly in turns 3 and 4. But boy, he drove it in really hard. Well, it's going to be tough for anybody to win 5 straight championships under this current points format. We haven't even seen anybody go back-to-back since they brought in the 16-man playoff in 2014. We've got a blown engine on the inside of the racetrack. That is the first driver to blow an engine today, and it is Mike Skinner in the 4. So Skinner's day is going to come to an end. Running at the back of the pack, but he is the first driver that will exit this race. So we will only have about 42 cars on the track now. So Bill Elliott must have actually exited this race already before Skinner. Elliott's coming back out onto the racetrack. We've been seeing this over the second half of the season where we've seen drivers blow an engine or crash out of a race and they come back out on the racetrack, repair just to try and pick up more points. And I think for Elliott's sake, he saw Skinner blew an engine. Okay, that's my opportunity to try and get more points.
88 is inside.
Why not?
The 88 car is still there.
Until you're mathematically out of the championship hunt.
Number 88 is gaining on you.
Can't consider yourself completely out. For Bill Elliott running in the top 15 in points still, he's going to try to pick up every point he can. I've not blown an engine like they have up to this point. I don't know if you can, honestly, in this game. I don't want to find out. But yeah, we've crashed out of a lot of races. We've had, I believe, 8 DNFs this year. Lap 93 this time. And there's one of Biffle's rivals, the first in which he will catch today, Rusty Wallace. Is not too much further ahead of him on the lead lap. So he's going to fight hard to try and stay on the lead lap if he can help it. And Biffle's got a faster car. He's going to try to put him a lap down.
It's going to make it hard for you to get around him.
And he is pretty upset right now with Biffle. Oh, Biffle got really tight into turn 3. Couldn't get the car to turn. Trying to cross him over. Down to the bottom off of turn 4. I'm very surprised that Rusty Wallace did not take a swing there. And Biffle will pull up and clear before they get into turn 1. That was a nice clean pass there by Biffle on Rusty Wallace. Yeah, very fortunate Wallace didn't try to take him out there. And he's getting closer again. Biffle blocking him down the back straightaway. He does not want Wallace to get alongside of him. Especially at a high-speed racetrack like Michigan, that is the last thing you want. And for Biffle, who has led the most laps, we're almost halfway home.
21 is outside.
He ducks underneath Ricky Rudd, trying to put Rudd a lap down.
Still there.
We're nearing our second pit stop of the day.
Still beside you. You're clear.
And Rudd is blocking Biffle. Ricky definitely drove it in deep going off into turn 1. We near the second half of the race. Look at this. Rudd is blocking it up into turn 3 now. Biffle drives it in deep and he'll clear Ricky Rudd in 3 and 4. Lap 96. Yeah, I want no shenanigans in this race. We need to get this race over as quick as possible and get another win and a possible another max points day to see if Biffle can climb into the top 10 perhaps in the point standings. Just keep chipping away because we get closer and closer to the end of this season. Biffle could have a shot at the championship if he keeps his pace up. Now again, he's going for a 5th consecutive win today as well, which would break a NASCAR record. Nobody's ever won 5 consecutive races. So that's another thing on the table for today's race. It'll be the 10th win of the season, so that means the 10th career win for Greg Biffle. He can find himself in victory lane today.
That car ain't running much longer. You need fuel.
Biffle trying to make it halfway home before he pits. Junior going to give him plenty of room off of turn 4, and Dale Jr. is going to go a lap down. One of the front runners in the point standings, Ryan Newman as well, one of the front runners just up ahead. And both Newman and Junior are outside the top 5. Junior has led a lap today. Newman has not. Tony Stewart's in the top 5. He has not yet led a lap.
The 12 car is outside.
That's Mark Martin trying to block Ryan Newman. Biffle to the inside there. We'll see if he can get around Martin as well. Into turn 3. Get around both of them. Now looking to pass Jeff Gordon as well and put him a lap down. Wow, barely cleared him going into one. Big slide. They're 3 wide. Contact. Oh, Biffle off the front bumper of Gordon. They were 3 wide. Biffle was already loose, and then he just kind of turned right off the front bumper of Jeff Gordon's car. Slow car Bill Elliott holding these guys up. They're 3 wide into turn 3 again. And Biffle's really sliding around on these old tires. And Martin back on the lead lap, and so is Jeff Gordon. Biffle's going to have to pass him again. These old tires not helping him out at all. On top of the aggressive racing by these guys as well, trying to refuse to go lap down. I think Johnson's on pit road. I believe he has short pitted once again. Windows open. It is lap 100. Ooh, boy. Dangerous spot for contact. Biffle's loose again. That time off the front bumper of Mark Martin. He's drifting through these corners. Again, he's trying to go as long as he can on this fuel run to the outside of Gordon. And he got around him cleanly there. Clears him off at turn 4. Tony Stewart up to 3rd. Bonnie back to 4th. Again, Johnson was in 3rd when he came to pit road. And he'll likely cycle back into 2nd place again. He short pitted the first time. He's short pitting again. We've got another blown engine on the inside of the racetrack. Not sure who it is. Ward Burton. So Ward Burton in the 22 has blown an engine now as well. So we got a slow car Bill Elliott on the racetrack. And we've had 2 blown engines that will be in the garage once Burton gets there, which again would be Ward Burton, and then also Mike Skinner is the other driver.
Number 41, Allen. They keep the tires in good shape to be fast, buddy. They're all around.
Just trying to stay in the gas. Biffle's doing everything he can. Now he's on the outside of Matt Kenseth going into turn 3.
Still beside you, make it easy.
As loose as you are, if you're driving the way Biffle's car is driving right now, Biffle's going to stay out of the pits one more lap. Hopefully he didn't push it too long. Lap 103 at the line. So he's going to go an extra lap longer than what he did on the first run. He went 51 laps on the opening run. This is going to be a 52nd lap to be ran here for Biffle. And he doesn't have much fuel left as he races to the inside of his teammate Kurt Busch to put him a lap down. Kurt Busch going to be coming to pit road this time, and so is Greg Biffle. Biffle loose again. So got to make sure you don't speed. 70 miles an hour is the pit road speed limit. Just ran out of gas, and there's a penalty. Speeding on pit road for Greg Biffle. He just ran out of gas off of turn 4, which was perfect, but he still couldn't back it up enough to get to pit road. So speeding for Greg Biffle, that's a 5-second penalty. Luckily, it's only 5 seconds. Could be like NASCAR Heat 5, and it could be a 15-second penalty, but that was not ideal right there. 5-second penalty, pretty quick stop, no mistakes there. Call 48, welcome to the stream. So that will put Gordon and Martin right back on the lead lap again. So Biffle's going to have to pass him a 3rd time. Get back down to the racetrack here. Last thing you want is to get ran over. Biffle getting up to speed, and here comes Rusty Wallace. Oh boy. That 5-second penalty, that has brought Wallace back into the picture again on Biffle. Trying to rush around Dale Jr. right now. I don't think Jr.'s pit yet. No, he is not, because that was a pass for position. So Jr. hasn't pit. Biffle's trying to get away from Rusty Wallace in the 2. Wallace looking high going off into turn 1. trying to get alongside Biffle, and Biffle does not want him to because this could be bad. Luckily, Greg had a pretty big lead. He should cycle back into the lead when every lead lap car comes to pit road. Race leader still staying out of the pits. There goes Tony Stewart. Oh, into the wall goes Biffle. Oh, no, he clipped Rusty Wallace right back and gets right around him. Wow. Stewart, the only car on the track. He collects 5 bonus points. He just led his first lap. And Rusty's coming right back after Biffle again. Again, just past halfway. Stewart was able to lead a lap to collect 5 bonus points. He is the points leader. So that's pretty big and noteworthy. And Biffle again trying to keep Rusty Wallace behind him. He bounced off the wall when he came back down the track and kind of clipped the right rear of Rusty. And Rusty got loose off of turn 4. Biffle got right back around him. And I would have to assume that probably upset Rusty a little bit more than what he was already upset. Dale Jarrett, the 88 car, is going to get underneath Wallace now. He's trying to get back on the lead lap as well. Biffle trying to get a pole off LePage. Down the back straightaway, Kevin LePage giving him plenty of room. I'm going to put another car in between him and Wallace. Dale Jarrett just cleared Rusty Wallace for position there using the lap car of LePage as a pick. Lead change at the line. Biffle back out in front again. Tony Stewart stayed out 1 extra lap, was able to get the lap led, and he's on pit road now. So Biffle back out in front here at Michigan. Wallace right back around Jarrett again. Biffle protecting the bottom. If Rusty's going to get alongside of him, it's going to have to be on the outside. I think Biffle would rather take a hit to the right side than the left side of the race car, because if he gets hit on the left side and we're in the middle of the corner, that is going to be extra dangerous. We have seen terrible accidents already this season when that has been the case. Dale Jarrett back alongside the 2 of Wallace. Slow car Bill Elliott just up ahead as well. Oh, Kenseth almost pulled up into Biffle. Biffle around the outside to hurry up and get on by Bill Elliott. That's going to hold Wallace up quite a bit, too. Dale Jarrett was able to straighten by to the inside. And Jarrett now to the inside of Biffle. Trying to get his lap back. And Wallace was able to get by it, too. But again, he lost a little bit of ground. Biffle almost in the wall off of turn 2. Now in the draft of Dale Jarrett. So Jarrett back on the lead lap for the meanwhile. Again, he had a top 5 run yesterday at Richmond, and he is 4th in the point standings. So you can't count him out of the championship race yet. 27-second lead. Again, Johnson back in 2nd place. I'm sure Labonte's going to run him back down again. He's not that far behind him, less than a second behind him. So there we go. Again, Biffle's led a lot of laps today, and he has in fact clinched the most laps led after leading that last lap. So Biffle, 10 bonus points for the 5th consecutive race. Now can he go to victory lane for the 5th consecutive race? Frankie Smith, welcome to the stream. Jarrett left the bottom open. Biffle trying to put him a lap down again off of turn 4. Can't do it. Falls in line behind him. Again, Biffle to the inside.
Number 88 is still there. Okay, we're clear. The 88 on top 5.
Can he clear Jarrett this time off of turn 4? Yes, he does.
He's looking right.
And pushed up the track a little bit, but he did clear him. Nice clean pass, and Jarrett is a lap down. Still can't believe we're caution-free over halfway through the Motor City 400 at Michigan. Under the lights on NASCAR Thunder 2004. Again, just 14 races left on the season after the conclusion of this one today, and the next race will be tomorrow at Kansas. Start time will be at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it should be a lot of fun at the Kansas Speedway. First and only trip there on this custom schedule season for NASCAR Thunder 04. We'll maybe see the points battle tighten a little bit more if Biffle can find victory lane today. What a comeback it would be if he can come from 749 points back at one point. At the time, with about 22 races still to go in the season when that was the case. It's just over half the season, luckily, that he was able to try and do it. I've played some of the older Monster Jam games before. I didn't even know that was one of them. I'd never heard of that one. No, I probably wouldn't. I don't really have enough time to do that now, even to do it with the channel. Dale Jarrett has just passed Biffle again to get back on the lead lap. Dale Jarrett is definitely not going down without a fight. Just in case we do get that first caution, he wants to make sure he's on the lead lap and giving himself a chance to win it. He can't do that if he's a lap down. Again, there's no free pass back in 2003 for being the first driver a lap down. So he's got to go. Johnson's still about 0.2 of a second ahead of Bobby Labonte. Stewart's falling outside the top 5. Probably because he was the last car on the racetrack. He was the last lead lap car to hit pit road. Just simply trying to lead that extra lap, get a lap led, and get 5 bonus points, because being the points leader, he needs all the points he can get. And a 93-point lead over Ryan Newman, who he's been running better than for most of the day today. Newman's, I believe, a lap down still. Though after that 5-second penalty by Biffle, I'm sure Newman's actually back on the lead lap. And Biffle was caught for speeding. It's NASCAR Thunder 04, but it's a 2003 season. It's like that with all the EA Sports games. Really, all the games in general is Bill Elliott on the outside again, very slow and off the pace after blowing an engine earlier, but he got back out onto the racetrack trying to log in more laps in case we get more DNFs. He's had a couple of them he's been able to pass now. Look at Jarrett just blocking Biffle all the way to the inside. Just trying to trap him then down the straightaways as Jarrett keeps doing what he's doing, and that is blocking. Jarrett's closed in on Mark Martin for position now. Looking for the pass. Martin looked to throw a block on Jarrett. Jarrett, though, really throwing a block on Biffle. Slides it into turn 3. couldn't get the grip he needed off of turn 4 to get to the inside of Dale Jarrett again, and Jarrett continues to block on the inside. I think he's going to drive it in deep into turn 1 and try to get underneath of Mark Martin, and now Martin throws a block on Jarrett. Martin slides up the track, almost into Vittipaldi. They're 3 wide off of turn 2. Jarrett has the advantage on the bottom into turn 3 underneath Mark Martin. Biffle drove it in deep. He gets around Martin himself there, and now he's alongside Dale Jarrett trying to put him a lap down again. Trying to make sure that Jarrett doesn't get the advantage on him. Big run. Oh, contact! Biffle drifts up the racetrack, still trying to catch it. Thought he had Jarrett cleared, and not quite. Kept it off the wall. Martin gets back on the lead lap again, and Jarrett kind of drives away a little bit. Martin leaves the bottom open for his teammate to get right back around him again. Boy, oh boy, that was a close call there. With less than 80 laps to go. And we're still cautioned for a 28-second lead over Jimmy Johnson. But that lead will easily be vanished if we get another caution. So Biffle not only trying to keep his car clean and keep all the speed he can in it, but he doesn't want to cause a caution. Jarrett has flat out just raced Biffle hard on this run.
Number 31 is outside. The 31 car is still there. Careful. You're clear.
Drafting on Jarrett again. Down the front stretch here at Michigan. And Stewart now again, by the way, back in the top 5. Jarrett caught behind Terry Labonte, rather, in the 5 car.
The 5 car is outside.
Jarrett and Biffle got around Labonte.
The 5 car is coming.
Biffle trying to get to the outside of Dale Jarrett. I don't think that's going to work. Good run to the inside of Ryan Newman, and Newman going to go a lap down now as well.
Number 12 is still there.
And Biffle will at least clear Ryan Newman. Dale Jarrett gets around Newman for position.
The 88 car is outside.
Jarrett just continues to block Biffle. Biffle now to his outside off of turn 2.
Number 88 is still there.
Really drove it deep into turns 1 and 2 there. Trying to get it to stick, and Dale Jarrett just continues to stay in front of him. Crossover by Biffle now to the inside. Little side draft. Oh, Bill Elliott's checking these guys up. He's going to pass Jarrett now. There's Tony Stewart. Stewart got held up as well. That's another driver Biffle wants to put a lap down as the points leader. Oh, contact. They got together. Still trying to save it, and Biffle goes around.
You're clear.
We stay green.
The 9 car, the 5. Be careful, buddy.
My goodness.
Number 9 is still there. Okay, we're clear.
Hold your breath there, ladies and gentlemen. Off of turn 2, that last lap, Biffle made contact trying to put Tony Stewart a lap down, the points leader nonetheless, and a little contact in the center of the corner. Stewart trying to crowd Biffle. And that is the product, if that's the case. I thought for a second there he was going to loop it right around. We were going to get a caution. He needs this thing to stay green. I guess if he's going to get a caution, the one caution he wants would be if Tony Stewart got in a major accident, because he is the points leader, and that would obviously help him out, but not the way that he wants to get back into the points hunt is by taking Stewart out himself. My goodness. It might be caution-free, but we've seen a couple moments here today. We could have very well easily had a very bad accident.
Halfway on gas.
We're going to alternate to the different camera angles one final time in the race today. Now 70 laps left at the line. He lost so much ground to Dale Jarrett and Tony Stewart, too. Jarrett just kind of ran Stewart down after the contact that he made with Biffle, especially. Yep, only one more scheduled pit stop still to go. Gonna see that pit window open up for guys to make it right around lap 150. We're gonna try to make it as long as he can again just to make sure he'll be plenty good to go to the end on fuel. 29.5-second lead, just over that on Jimmy Johnson, who's been in second for most of the day. Either him or Bobby Labonte, it seems like, outside of the opening 20 laps where you saw 3 or 4 different drivers lead. It's just so hard to pass cars in this game. It just seems like you get under them. And that, and you see Dale Jarrett blocking it up again here. So Biffle trying to make a move on Dale Jarrett. Jarrett just trying to throw a block. Biffle has to check up into turn 1 to keep from running into the back of Jarrett. This is about the 4th different time he's had to try and pass him already. And he got loose off of turn 2, trying to stay in the gas and keep control of the car. Look at how much it was wiggling back and forth there. Jarrett continues to stay in front of the 16. And he drove it hard into turns 3 and 4, trying to cross Jarrett over now to the bottom. And they're side by side.
Number 88 is still there.
And again, Jarrett able to get the run off of turn 4. Pulls down and clears Biffle. Biffle trying to get a run again off of turn 2. Oh, that was a huge run, but he got the wall. Jarrett getting held up there behind Nadu. Biffle 3 wide underneath him.
The 88 car is still there.
Dale Jarrett still to the outside.
The 01 car is skirting right.
Jarrett gets the run off of turn 4. And again holds on to the lead lap. Garrett Master 2000, welcome to the stream. Oh boy, that was a loose moment. No, contact, Jarrett. Got clipped by Biffle. Biffle was on the apron, just kind of washed back up the track in the middle of 1 and 2. And the hard battle between the 88 and the 16 seems to finally be over. Unless Jarrett can run him back down again. There's a slow Bill Elliott. The 01 is Jerry Nadeau in 2003. Well, at least he ran the first half of the season before he had a career-ending injury and a crash in practice at Richmond. But obviously this game came out towards the beginning of the year, so he was driving the 01 at the time. Now Biffle just trying to run down Tony Stewart. Maybe try to put Smoke a lap down here. Take him out of the hunt to try and win this race in case we get a caution. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. Wow, Biffle really slid off into turn 3. Able to make the pass and put Brett Bodine yet another lap down. Trying to draft Stewart down the back straightaway. Reeling him in little by little. Took the bottom a little bit better in turns 3 and 4 as well. Stewart had that wider arc, like he might have gotten a little too tight on corner entry. And now Stewart is trying to block for his life like he saw Dale Jarrett doing on Greg Biffle earlier. So he refuses to try and go a lap down. Kurt Busch right in front of him as well. That would be 4th position. I believe that's Kurt Busch in the 97. So they're battling for 4th. Biffle's trying to put both these guys a lap down. Stewart goes low. Biffle goes even lower.
Still beside you. Keep patient. The 20 car is still there.
Biffle will put Stewart a lap down. He'll clear Kurt Busch off of turn 4, and Kurt Busch is a lap down now. So only 4 cars on the lead lap. 33-second lead for Biffle over Jimmy Johnson. Still caution-free today at Michigan. I want to say it was like a spinal injury, if I'm not mistaken. There was probably a couple injuries that went in with it, but I think the spinal injury was the reason why it was career-ending. But I think he broke some bones, too. Not mistaken. Kind of like backed it into the wall, driver's side first. I don't believe there was any safer barrier either at the time. I can't remember if it was because of a brake failure or something just broke on the car. Made that happen. But I know it was at Richmond and it was a practice session. Stewart did get around Kurt Busch for 5th again. So that obviously helped him out. As far as him trying to win the race, he's a lot down right now. That could be tough to come back from. Go back to the far chase cam for the rest of this race now. Kevin Harvick, the 4th place car, now about to go a lap down. Towards the end of the fuel run. Biffle trying to get to the inside of Harvick, races him into turn 1. Biffle on the bottom, gets loose. Contact with Harvick. Man. Biffle's had a handful of that race car. Tony Stewart's starting to reel him back in again. A lot of it is that these cars he's trying to put a lap down for the first time all of a sudden are a lot faster than the cars at the back of the pack. So Biffle gets underneath them, and they're trying to crowd him. I mean, it's just hard racing, and it's just a matter of one guy just not being able to keep his car in control, and Biffle rushes to the outside trying to use Bill Elliott as a pick, and he'll put Harvick a lap down because of it. And Harvick's still caught behind Elliott off of turn 2. Tony Stewart now trying to make a move on Harvick for 4th. So now we've got 3 drivers on the lead lap.
Haven't got much longer on that left front tire.
Yeah, 2003 was kind of known. There was a lot of really violent, hard crashes in 2003. And multiple different series for NASCAR.
You two wrong. Now five. You're clear. Number 22, down left. The 22 car is still there. Keep patient. Number 22 is passing low. All clear, mate.
Bill Elliott just came off the pit road there, so it's likely his final stop of the race. Almost 3/4 of the way home here today at Michigan. Biffle trying to make history and go for a 5th consecutive victory. Nobody's ever won 9 races in a row in the NASCAR Cup Series. At this time, obviously, the Winston Cup Series, but still. And it would be his 10th win of his career and of the season.
Onside. Still there. All clear, mate.
For the most part, Biffle's kept that race car fairly clean today. No severe damage. There's Jimmy Johnson now. And Bobby Labonte, for that matter. So the 2nd and 3rd place cars are about to go a lap down at the end of this fuel run here.
Number 38 is right behind you. Clear.
This is big.
Number 18 is inside.
Oh, Biffle got loose off of turn 2. Getting a draft off Johnson, though, down the back straightaway. Oh, no! 3 wide contact between all 3 of them. That wasn't a wise move to take it up the middle there in between Johnston and Labonte going off into turn 3. Some pretty significant contact. All 3 of them keep it going, and we stay green.
No one inside.
Wow. Biffle just gets so loose here late in the run. Biffle underneath, 3 wide. This time he goes to the bottom underneath Labonte and Johnson. Trying to keep Johnson out of it. So we know he is going to wipe one side of him. Lap 150. And the fuel window for Biffle is open to the end of the race, but he'll go a couple laps longer just to make sure. Jimmy's been short pitting all day. I wonder if he'll be able to short pit here and get back around Labonte for 2nd place. Again. Would not surprise me, and he could unlap himself by doing that as well. 50 laps to go at Michigan. We're 3/4 of the way home. No cautions today. The only other caution-free race was the Daytona 500 on NASCAR Thunder 04 for this season.
Number 23, the 5. The 23
Bonnie, Johnson, Stewart still all on the racetrack. Biffle went 51 laps on the opening run and 52 laps on the second fuel run. Again, this is only going to be the third pit stop of the race, but it will be the final one. Unless we get a caution and we end up getting more drivers hitting pit road at that point, which isn't impossible. We're the latter going of a NASCAR race. Again, we had 6 cautions at Michigan earlier this season. Johnson's on pit road now. He's just coming out of the pits. Labonte also came off the pit road. So Labonte tried to make sure that Johnson didn't short pit on him that time. They pitted at the same time, and Labonte will still beat him off pit road. It looked like he was a couple car lengths ahead of him. So they're going to be on equal tires to the end of the race. Still a gallon of fuel left here for Biffle. He could probably take it 2 more laps. Yep, speed limit 70 miles an hour. Biffle did speed on pit road that last time, but luckily it's only a 5-second penalty in this game. Again, NASCAR heat, it's a 15-second penalty. It would have been a little more costly. Aiden Rowland, welcome to the stream. Indeed, the face cam is on. Brought it back during the stream yesterday. Half gallon of fuel left for Biffle. He'll be able to make it 1 more lap, so he'll stay out this time. And he will pit at lap 155. That'll give him 45 laps to the end. He'll easily be able to make it on fuel. Tires haven't been an issue. Really, any race this season, we haven't seen the tires get really bad to the point where they were about to blow. And we have seen races where they've gotten really worn out, just not quite that worn out. So runs the fuel tank dry right at the end, just like last time. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel, no adjustments have been made all day on the 16 of Biffle. He wasn't the last of the lead drivers that hit pit road, but one of the last. Tony Stewart's been staying out a little bit longer. We'll see if he can stay out again. He's already led a lap, so there's no real point for him to do that other than just flat out sticking to his strategy. But again, still caution free. No pit stops under caution today. Clean stop, pretty good one there for the 16 of Biffle. And they'll get back out onto the racetrack. Biffle staying low. There's really nobody right around him for the moment. Comes back up onto the racetrack. There's Bobby Labonte. And oh boy, here comes Jimmy Johnson. Biffle's going to try to pull up in front of him. Oh my goodness, he wants to keep him behind him. And oh, Johnson gets to the back bumper of Biffle. Oh, here we go. He tried to pull up in front of him so that way Johnson didn't get back alongside of him because he almost did there. 44 to go as we're up to speed at Michigan. Right in the middle of green flag stops nonetheless. Johnson again trying to close to the back bumper of Biffle. He might be looking to turn him. Biffle slides up the track a little bit there. And there was almost contact, but not quite. Johnson driving hard. Into turns 3 and 4. These guys are catching Bobby Labonte here. Johnson's getting a good draft off Biffle down the straightaways to keep up with him. And Johnson to the inside, takes a shot into the wall. Goes Johnson and Biffle. Big hit into the wall for both drivers. Biffle still with a pretty big lead. Johnson again trying to take him out. And they're still running. That was some pretty significant damage to the 16. Johnson's still behind him. I mean, it's big damage, but nothing is in the red on the indicator of the body to see how much damage there exactly is. And Johnson's not done yet.
He's been talking about you on the radio.
41 to go this time by. Biffle just wants to drive away from him, trying to break the draft to the bottom. But again, he's trying to keep him alongside, and here he comes again. And there's another hit. Biffle trying to catch the car up the track. My goodness. $40 to go this time by. That 16 car still running. Drama here at Michigan late. Johnson right back on the lead lap. Biffle still in the lead, only about just under 7 seconds ahead of Tony Stewart. Stewart has still not hit pit road for the final time. Not sure how much longer he can run. But he will have to pit some point again. At least there's some space between Johnson and Biffle now all of a sudden. Yeah, Stewart's trying to stay out as long as he can. By staying out as long as he can pit and take fresher tires and try to run these guys back down. But he's losing so much ground currently on all these drivers with fresh tires. Biffle is a full second faster than Stewart that last lap, with the roughly 30 to 35 lap fresher tires he's got on his car now, compared to what Tony's got from when he last pitted. Harvick also on the same strategy as Stewart.
Some of the leaders are coming in together.
8.6 back at the line there, and Stewart likely coming to pit road finally. At least some of the leaders are. Not sure if all of them are or not. Bad as Biffle might want to retaliate on Johnson, he doesn't need to see a caution. Needs this thing to play green to the very end. Because he's pretty much got the race won if that would be the case. Labonte in second, Kurt Busch third, Johnson shown in fourth. Maybe next race tomorrow at Kansas, you could definitely see some retaliation there from Biffle on Johnson, but not today. Not this late in the race. Four drivers on the lead lap right now. So, yeah, Stewart, Harvick, they're a lap down. They stayed out just a little too long. Biffle's sake, he's going to hope Tony Stewart doesn't get back into the top five there. Well, if a caution comes out, everything's going to bunch right back up together. We have four cars on the lead lap, so it would be a pretty much four-car shootout to the win if we did see a yellow. Unless Biffle can catch back up to these guys and lap them, which over the course of the run, he'll get faster. We've seen that all day today. Over the course of the tire stint. Slow car Bill Elliott in the way. Biffle rushes right around him. Almost a 31-second lead to Labonte. Yep, Kansas race tomorrow on NASCAR Thunder 2004 for the Banquet 400. That will start at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So at 5 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, we will be racing NASCAR Thunder 04 at Kansas. Just think, after that race concludes, we'll only have 13 races left on the season. But again, it's only Season 1 for Thunder 04. We will be doing Season 2. You guys will get to pick the driver I will run. And I think it's going to be a little harder than this season, because I tried to skewer the schedule in my favorability with the racetracks and when we raced them. And obviously it still hasn't worked. Biffle's not led in the points all season. But we'll be running the normal 2003 schedule, and that is tougher than this one, so can't be slumping like we did midway through this season. Elliott Sadler trying to throw a block on Biffle here. Sadler already a lap down, trying not to go 2 laps down. And that's despite the fact that he's an ally. Little contact between Biffle and Sadler, and Biffle will clear him. .31 to go at the line. Johnny Benson, who's already a lap down as well now, just trying to block on Biffle. Looks like Johnson's catching up to Kurt Busch. I believe that's Kurt Busch. Might be another lap car, too. It's possible. Contact that time between Johnny Benson and Greg Biffle, but Benson's just blocking quite a bit. A little more contact off of turn 4 there. Biffle desperately trying to stay to the inside of Benson into turn 1. Both cars driving in deep. Johnny's fighting on the outside while Biffle's fighting on the inside. And Benson's going to stay right in front of Greg Biffle here. Still hanging on. It's about as hard as Dale Jarrett was driving in front of Greg Biffle earlier. Only difference is Jarrett was refusing to go 1 lap down. Johnny's already a lap down. He's just not letting Biffle go. Trying not to go a 2nd lap down in case we get cautions late. Might be able to race back around the leader. Good drive in 3 and 4 that time. Biffle gets underneath of Johnny Benson, but he can't clear him yet. Here's Christian Fittipaldi in the 43. Benson was able to get a good draft off Fittipaldi there and sling right back around Biffle. Biffle couldn't complete the pass off of turn 4. All the way to the bottom on the apron there. Through 1 and 2. More contact between Benson and Biffle. Biffle slid up the track. Now he clears him off of turn 2. Biffle just wants to race to the finish. Get away from everybody. Oh, jeez. Andrew Hollenbach, welcome to the stream. Looked away for a second there and I kind of got in the wall off turn 4. And Benson right to the back bumper of Biffle again, but I don't think he's going to be able to get alongside Biffle another time. At least I don't think so. He's trying. Biffle's just kind of hoping he stays away. No, this is going to be the only race for the day. Next stream tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And it will be NASCAR Thunder 04 at Kansas. Mark Martin's closing in. He's trying to get back on the lead lap, perhaps. Biffle's teammate. Wouldn't expect his teammate to race him as hard as these other lap cars, but with this game, you just never know. We'll just have to wait and see. These guys are coming up on the slow car, Bill Elliott. Elliott, the 9 stays high. Biffle pulls up, clears him off of turn 4 easily there. $13 people watching right now. Thanks for everybody tuning in here. 25 laps to go at Michigan for the Motor City 400 on NASCAR Thunder 04. Four drivers on the lead lap. In the late going of this race, we've seen run-ins between Johnson and Biffle in the late going of this race. Mark Martin trying to get back on the lead lap behind Biffle. That is the only reason you see damage on the back of Biffle's car.
The 6 car is down low.
Welcome back, Michael. Oh boy.
Still there.
There's a loose moment.
All right.
And off of turn 4, Mark Martin back on the lead lap. 5 cars now on the lead lap, and Mark hoping for a caution late. Oh, contact between the teammates.
The 6 car is passing high. All clear back.
Boy, oh boy. Over Joe turns 1 and 2 a little bit. Martin still behind him. Yeah, Martin very well could have fresher tires right now because he has ran Biffle down. That damage has to be slowing Biffle down quite a bit too. It just doesn't feel like he's as fast as what he was earlier in the race. I think that's Kevin Harvick now closing in on both Martin and Biffle. Starting to now pull away as Harvick is putting pressure on Martin for 5th. And they're side by side now through turns 3 and 4. 20 laps to go this time for Greg Biffle. For those of you not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content. We do these full race live streams with a realistic broadcast every day, as well as other related content as I start my young broadcasting career. Trying to get the name out there, so again, help me out. But also hit the like button. We got looked away from the screen again. Biffle got in the wall off of turn 2 now. And And Harvick closes the gap on him after Biffle got in the wall. But anyway, yeah, 12 people watching currently right now. Only 6 people have hit the like button. So hit the like button also down below. Helps with the YouTube algorithm there. And it does help me out a ton. So that way we can get these videos and streams recommended under other NASCAR content on YouTube. Yeah, the car's been on the tight side in turns 1 and 2 most of the day. It's kind of freed up a little bit. As well as run carries on, it's freeing up slightly as well. Pretty unbelievable right now. We're less than 20 laps away from a caution-free race. It's been a while. Again, the only other caution-free race was the Daytona 500 at the start of the season. This is race 22, so it's been 21 races since that. We also went caution-free in the dual race as well, leading up to Daytona, but that was only 50 laps. It was also an exhibition race. No points were on the line. Wow, really heavy lap traffic now. Not too far ahead of the 16 at Biffle all of a sudden. The end of this race, but again, he's got a gigantic lead. Wouldn't be surprised if Bill Elliott was in the mix-up here trying to hold guys up, and yep, there is Bill Elliott. Extremely slow race car here off the pace, coming out of the garage earlier. And he's going to hold Harvick up, and Mark Martin trying to close the gap on Harvick to maybe get him back for 5th again. Really stuck turns 3 and 4 perfectly that time. Despite a little bit lower angle to get around the 2 lap cars of Casey Mears and Jeremy Mayfield. 15 to go. There's Jimmy Johnson. In front of Greg Biffle once again. "14 laps left. Big run underneath Robbie Gordon. Johnson gets held up big time behind one of these lap cars. That could be the opportunity Biffle needs to get around him cleanly. Be the only way he'll be looking to make a pass. Johnson also trying to get around. It looks like Kurt Busch for position here. Go off into turn 3. All the way on the inside. He's got drafting help. Kurt Busch is right there. Oh, that's perfect. He's drafting right off of Kurt Busch to clear Jimmy Johnson. Nice clean pass on the 48. Oh, and Johnson runs into the back of him. outside of the racetrack.
Still there.
Trying to get out of the gas and just let Johnson go.
All clear back.
Thought after he cleared him, he was okay. Johnson trying to get around Kurt Busch right now.
You just had to go with the fire. Take it easy.
11 laps to go. Sure, as a Roush Fenway teammate here, Biffle's hoping that Kurt Busch can hold him off.
Onside. They're all around. All out.
Biffle's staying right behind him. He does not want to get alongside Jimmy Johnson. Johnson checked up behind the lap car of Jeff Green. Big run. Big run by Biffle. Nope. 10 laps.
Onside.
10 laps remaining here at Michigan.
They're on both sides.
Johnson looks low to the inside of Kurt Busch for third.
Still there. Number 1 is right behind you.
Oh, he almost tagged the 97. Got really close to one another.
Rewind. Hold that line.
3 wide underneath. Looked to take a swing there for a second. Thought better of it. He was clear. Johnson tries to wipe him out again. And Biffle drives on by, and that's going to cost Johnson a chance to get around Kurt Busch for position. With 9 laps to go in the race, I don't think he's going to have enough time to get back up to Kurt. Another swing. That time he made contact. That right side's pretty well damaged on the 16 at Biffle. Crosses over on Kurt Busch, and now Busch is going to go a lap down. And he's in third. 2 drivers on the lead lap, 8 to go. Still caution free at Michigan. Slow car, Bill Elliott. Oh, man. Biffle slides in the corner trying to get around Labonte, and Labonte goes a lap down now. There was a big checkup behind the slow lap car of Elliott, and Biffle had to check up all of a sudden and keep from running in the back of those guys. And Kurt Busch now is trying to make a move on Bobby Labonte for second. 7 to go, and Biffle's got a lap on the field. For the second consecutive race, he's trying to finish it off with a 1-lap victory. And again, with this race going caution-free today, that's obviously helped him in trying to do that.
Might be time for a new left rear tire. You gotta be low on fuel. Check your gauges.
Gone as far as 52 laps on a full run, 51 laps on the opening run of the race. We have 6 to go currently. This would only be a 45-lap stint on fuel, so easily going to make it to the end. Once we get to 4 laps to go, if a caution comes out, it's going to end the race once they race back to the checker flag. Biffle's going to put Kevin LePage another lap down. He's been towards the rear of the field pretty much all day. We'll have 5 laps to go this time. He's got a lap on the field, so that's also going to help. If we did get a caution now, they would line up right behind him, though. Well, then again, he's the only driver on the lead lap, so I don't know how that would work. I know in the last 10 laps, the lap cars usually line up behind the lead lap cars, but Biffle being the only one on the lead lap, they might still line up to the inside anyway. Biffle looking for the Michigan sweep
You're clear.
and to make it 5 consecutive victories on the season. 4 to go. Wow, Kevin Harvick's driven up to second place now. Pretty much out of nowhere. Good run for Happy Harvick. Never led a lap today, but he was out in front for a little bit. Or towards the front, I should say, at the very beginning of the race after qualifying fourth. He slipped back, but pit strategy has brought him back into the race. Tony Stewart's on that same strategy as Harvick right now, so obviously Biffle wants this race to get over with as soon as possible. 3 to go now, so that way Tony Stewart doesn't have a chance of gaining any more positions. Right side pretty severely damaged on Greg Biffle's car after Johnson taking shot after shot, it seems like, on him. Only one more lap car in front of the 16 of Biffle, and it's a lot of clean room after that. It's an ally of Brett Bodine, so he'll likely let him by pretty easily. This will be the last lap car of the day that Biffle will have to catch. 2 laps to go. Biffle gets through. Oh! Car got tight off of turn 2. Little contact. Well, now it's smooth sailing to the end of the race. My goodness. Not an easy final fuel run to the end of this thing, but boy, oh boy. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go here at Michigan. This is going to be it. Johnson's just got around Kurt Busch for 4th that last lap. So he ended up catching back up to him anyway, but that was likely a little hope after Harvick got around him, plus lap cars if I had to imagine. 1 mile to go. Biffle looking for that 10th win of the season. 5 consecutive wins here. A little loose in turns 3 and 4, but plenty good to the finish. Clean air in front of him. Biffle's going to get the Michigan sweep. NASCAR record 5 consecutive wins as Biffle wins at Michigan for the Motor City 400. Big time win once again. Another max points day and a caution-free race.
Not a single caution lap was run the whole race.
You know, that's
We came close to a couple cautions there, especially late. Biffle survives to the end. And a big win. And trying to catch up once again. And another win at my home track nonetheless as well. Well, Rusty Wallace isn't as upset anymore, but we know Jimmy Johnson still is, so at least he was able to get around Rusty Wallace clean, and that was the only time he even saw him today. It was midway through the race, but he was able to get around him cleanly. Take a look at the finishing results to today's race. Again, Greg Biffle with the win, leading 187 of the 200 laps today. Very, very good win there for Biffle after starting on the pole. 8 lead changes in this one, again, caution-free. So 181 miles an hour was the average speed today. It's pretty fast. 2 hours and 12 minutes is all it took for today's race with it going caution-free. We had that very quick race pace. Kevin Harvick finished runner-up in second. Didn't lead a lap today. Labonte led 7 laps, and he finished third. Jimmy Johnson fourth, and Kurt Busch rounds out the top 5. Tony Stewart led some laps because of pit strategy, so that worked out for him. Dale Jr. led the first 2 laps of the race today. Led the first lap. Biffle led the second, then I think he got back to the lead for another lap, and that was his 2 laps led. He finished 7th, though. He was still in the top 10 all day. Mark Martin faded late. He went from about 5th back to 8th. Matt Kenseth finished 9th, and Dale Jarrett rounds out the top 10. He really faded at the end as well. Ryan Newman came in second in points, finished outside the top 10 in 12th versus the points leader and third in points, Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart finished inside the top 10. Take a look at who all DNF'd in today's race. Jack Sprague blew an engine on lap 2. I didn't even know that. So Sprague failed to finish this race. Stanton Barrett also blew an engine. Did not see that one either. We did see Mike Skinner blow an engine and Ward Burton blow an engine. Steve Park blew an engine as well. We saw David Green blow an engine there late. Bill Elliott also blew an engine very early in the race, but he got back out there, was able to pass, obviously, a couple cars, so he finished 38th. And Michael Waltrip also blew an engine late in the race with about 10 laps left. So, 1, 2, 7 drivers DNF'd in today's race. Gotta take a look at the point standings here before we get on out of here. That is the second consecutive race. The only 2 races on this game in particular I have won by a lap or more. So interesting that they happen in back-to-back races on back-to-back days, but starting to put the pressure on, or at least trying to. Still going to need some help if Greg Biffle's going to win the championship this year. 14 races still to go until the champion is crowned. So there is obviously time. Biffle just needs to keep doing what he's doing right here, and if help comes, help comes. But if not, it's all right too. Biffle moves from 12th in points to 9th. He has went from 22nd to 9th in the points in 5 races. Unbelievable. And Stewart obviously still the points leader. Increases the points lead from 93 to 121. He's still less than a full race ahead of Newman and Dale Jr. Jr. slides back a little bit as well in the running there. He also beat Dale Jarrett, who was 4th in points. Harvick, who finished runner-up, is into the top 5 in the point standings now, so good for him. And Ricky Rudd has a pretty big gap back to him in 6th. Biffle is 556 points back still. Yeah, still quite a ways back. 9th in points, though. He's back in the top 10. And it's been a while, but it has been a long fight. And now a record 5 consecutive wins. 10 wins on the season. It just shows the inconsistencies we were having with those DNFs midway through the year. The fact that we're at 10 wins and we're 9th in points. 556 back. Tony Stewart has been on a tear. 14 races into the season. I want to see what his average finish is, because it's got to be really high. Oh, he does have a win this year. Where did he win? I was thinking he was winless this whole time. So Tony Stewart won at North Carolina Speedway. So Tony Stewart won at Rockingham. That was his only win this year. I was thinking he was winless. I know Ryan Newman's winless. Huh. Okay, so Stewart has won a race. And the next 3 races, there you see right there, Kansas, Pocono, and Infineon. So Tony Stewart, through the first 22 races, has 1 win, 10 top 5s, 15 top 10s. So he's finished in the top 10 all but 7 times this year, but he's got 10 top 5s. Almost half the races he's ran this year. Unbelievable. 7.9 average finish. That would be why Tony Stewart is leading the points currently. That's unbelievable. His championship season in 2002, he only had 15 top 5s and 21 top 10s all year, and he won the championship. And he's only 5 short of that in top 5s, and we still have 14 races to go. That's insane. Only 2 poles on the season. And it has been a fight for the top, that's for sure. Thanks for everybody tuning in here today. Hit that subscribe button on your way out if you haven't already for more daily NASCAR content. Hit the like button down below as well if you enjoyed the race commentary of the video in general. Also helps me out with the YouTube algorithm there as well. We're on the road to 1,000 subs. We do these full race NASCAR video game live streams on the daily every day because I have started my broadcasting career on this channel by trying to get the name out there. So thanks everybody for supporting me along the way and who will continue to support me going forward. That's going to wrap things up here today. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We'll run NASCAR Thunder 04 again. It will be at Kansas for the next race of the season, as you just saw a little bit ago. But thanks for everybody watching. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and I'll catch you tomorrow evening.